Evening to you, Alex. Congratulations on your performance and also the victory. How close was that, would you say, to your team's best performance of the season so far?
Yeah, it's up there, one of our best performances so far. I mean, we've been performing well, maybe results ain't been going our way, but to win again at home sends a message, and yeah, we're using that as confidence, and hopefully we can go into the next week with that confidence as well.
What do you think the team did well tonight, Alex?
We knew that Brentford are very good at long throws, so we worked on a lot of long throws in training this week. And yeah, we were basically working on the second balls and reacting to them. So we were able to withstand that, which was the main threat today. We were able to do well. We had a lot of players that were able to create chances. So we believed we always have the opportunity to take our chances, and we were able to do so today.
How hard are they to defend against? When Coyote is throwing them in at that angle as well, it looks pretty challenging.
Yeah, it is, because you can't really judge the trajectory because it's so flat and you don't know where it's going to land. So we were literally working all week on second balls, but credit to our defenders, they're able to head away the first balls and clear it from the penalty box.
Alex, it's Gary Cahill. I just want to say, I read an interview you did recently just saying that you you like to have fun on a football pitch. You look like you did that tonight, so congratulations. I want to ask you, in terms of personal ambition for this season, you had a great goal-scoring season last year. What's the ambitions for yourself, first of all, and secondly for the club? You know, you're sat in 7th position right now, which looks healthy. What's the ambitions?
For me personally, just to improve from last season. I mean, like you said, I had my best goal season, so hopefully I can achieve a better season this year and hopefully get into double figures. But for the team, I mean, we broke our points tally for the Premier League last season, but hopefully we won't just do that. Hopefully we achieve a European spot as well.
Alex, Jamie Redknapp, right, let's have a look at this goal. The first one, I'm delighted with it, I'm sure. You just reacted really well. Talk us through it, please, mate.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've been working on long throws to react to second balls, so it's the same thing when we're attacking. I couldn't really tell you where the ball was going to drop, but you just have to stay on your toes, and lucky for me, I was in the right spot at the right time. I just had to make sure I got good contact. I'm putting aim for the target. Lucky for me, I was able to go through the defender's legs, keeper was onside, and it went in.
Nice feeling as well. You get your team back into it. And I'm not saying you couldn't make this pass, but does that pass that you make for the assist for Harry Wilson become a little bit easier because of the confidence running through your veins after scoring?
Yeah, naturally, when you have that confidence, you feel like you're able to do anything, and you almost try anything. So it's something me and Harry work on in training. Like when I see him, I know he's going to make the run in behind. And yeah, it was a tight gap, but credits to Rodri as well. He made a run to make that space for Harry. And H is one of the best finishers in our team, and you see that from the finish today.
It was a beautiful pass. One of the assists of the season, the weight of it, because you had to sort of put it through the two defenders perfectly. And then Harry with a gorgeous finish.
Yeah, it's something like I said, we work on in training. The gaffer, when we're playing playthroughs, he likes everything to be almost perfect, so we work on it in training. So it's nice when something on the training ground comes off into a game.
Just tell us a little bit about the Fulham forward line, because there's been this change. It looks like really at the start of this season that Rodrigo is going to play a little bit more, and Raul Jimenez is the guy that's going to come off the bench. What difference does that make to you in the way you attack?
I mean, they're both aerial threats. They both work hard for the team, but credits to Rodri today. He works his socks off, and we know that almost like 8 times out of 10, if the ball's in the air, he's going to win the first contact. So we just have to gamble off him. But it's the same with Raul. Like, you see the impact he has off the bench. And he's a Mexico international. He always does well for Mexico. So it's a headache for the manager. But for me, as an attacking player, it's amazing to have 2 strikers that not just do well for themselves, but do well for the team.
And we need to talk about Kevin as well, Alex. He looks some pretty exciting talent he's got in those boots.
Yeah. He's very, very sharp. He's very, very... You say about me, I like to enjoy my football, and so does he. He's very entertaining, and you can see the confidence. He's willing to try things and make things happen. So, I mean, it normally takes a lot for a player to settle down, but he's very confident, and we give him the license to go and express himself. So, as long as he's working in our favour, we're going to keep on encouraging him to literally just play with freedom.
And just a word as well on Josh King. He looked devastated, Alex, with the way the first goal was conceded. What have the team said to him?
I mean, yeah, I was one of the first to speak to him because I mean, 18 years of age, it was brave of him to actually show to feet and try and collect the ball on the edge of the box. And it's something we work on in training. Of course, it don't always come off, so I literally ran to him. The whole team said to him, yo, you got a lot of quality, just keep on doing your thing, and I'm sure we'll get back into the game. And obviously, he was grateful when I scored. He said, oh, thank you, got me out of a pickle. But he's such a talented young man, and it's something to learn from. But credits to him, like, he kept his head and he kept on going until he had to come off, but he kept on doing his thing.
Yeah, he's learning from you, Alex. You're setting a great example. Congratulations on your performance tonight. Terrific, and a really good victory as well. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Well done, Alex.
Thank you.
Well done.
Great performance from Alex Iwobi. I love what he says about Josh King there. We may as well start there with Jamie, with the analysis, because it was interesting what he said about the fact that Josh King was brave enough to come and receive it on the edge of his own box, under pressure as well.
I mean, I've watched Josh play probably since he was 8-9 years of age, and he plays, when he plays for England under 17s or 16, he will tend to play in a number 6 role. So it shouldn't really be anything that he's not accustomed to. I think he just makes a mistake. It can happen. You know, Brentford are trying to press, and you can see Josh comes into frame here. He's getting pressed by Jordan Henderson. They roll out, and then you can see they're pretty much man for man all over the pitch, Brentford. But Damsgaard, number 24, is the player that's obviously the key to it, because he's the one that, as what they say in modern terminology, he jumps. He's with Sanderberg there, you can see. And as that ball then gets played into Josh now, he sees the pitcher. Just turn it back just a touch. He has Anderson. Anderson would be the sensible one, but because he is a progressive player, he wants to always look forward. He tries to whip this ball into Tete, number 2. But you can see that Damsgaard's left his man. He anticipates it. Obviously, Josh doesn't get quite the connection that he wants. It falls to Damsgaard. And when this happens, all you do is just hold your breath and think, please don't score, please don't score. But because Damsgaard is that kind of player, he has that quality, he composes himself and finishes it really well. Gets that one touch, another one, and then bends it into the corner. And then he's got his head in his hands, and all you can do is just go, brush your shoulders off. And all the players are going to come around as much as they can, but we all make mistakes, Gary.
Listen, it's a learning curve for him today, wasn't it? And it's great, actually, what Alex just said, an experienced player at 29, I think he is now, to go over and have them words with him. He's a young boy, he'll make mistakes during his career. But what I was watching, actually, and what I was interested in after that was his reaction. And I felt like he kept playing to his strengths. He kept trying to get in the spaces in the pockets, turn, carry the ball. It didn't deflate him in that sense. I'm sure he goes to bed tonight and he's devastated. But also, from his point of view, I was happy that Fulham got the result, because it's not that costly now. So he's going to learn from that for sure. Absolute talent. And I thought, it was great from Alex, great leadership skills.
Yeah, when he said to me, thank you.
Yeah. Well, that is the relief, though. That is definitely the relief.
Exactly.
If you lose this game 1-0 because of that, it feels so much worse. You go back home now, you go in the dressing room, the lads are having a laugh, you've got 3 points. It's almost in the past now, it's something he can learn from.
We've said before the game, we did the commentators cast, but he's going to be a tremendous talent, isn't he?
He is, I just like his, like I said, how he carries the ball forward, how he gets on the ball in tight areas. He seems like he's got a lot of confidence. That will be a big blow. And like I said, just learn from that. You're a young boy. You're going to go through these moments in your career.
Yeah, and huge potential, that is for sure. Sounds like it's been a fun week on the Fulham training ground, working on second balls.
That was a right laugh.
Yeah.
But it's paid off this evening, hasn't it?
Yeah. Go on.
Let's have a look at the equaliser.
Because he talked about the pinball and reacting. Sorry, David, you threw me
on the defensive
there,
side of things, but it pays off because, as he said, he's sharp there where the ball does drop.
He is, and he's just alive. And like he obviously said he didn't know where exactly he was going to land, but it's important that he's on his toes and he's in and around. He makes a second movement there, which I like. He showed it at the edge of the box the first time. He's not just stood and watched it. He's made a second movement. If you see it here, he's just on the edge there. He shows there on the edge of the box.
Yes.
If you start there.
Yeah, highlight.
There he goes.
Yep.
A lot of players can just stay there and watch. He makes a second movement and he gets his rewards.
Yeah, obviously he's alive, isn't he?
Yeah, he's alive. He's on his toes. And like you said, he hits the target and scores.
Foul? Just on Nathan Collins there. You can see there, Muniz gets his arm up.
I should say, from the Defenders Union, shouldn't I really? But I said to you off air, I think it's more of a just using a bit of strength and just knocking him off balance as opposed to a full-on push. So for me, no. And Collins will be disappointed with that. I think
sorry, does that go back to what we talked about with Muniz, who's a bit of a handful in there?
He is a handful. He's physical, causes chaos. Yeah, he's definitely a handful. I think he'll be disappointed, Collins, that he didn't try and get the first header. But then after that, if you just adjust your feet and clear the ball. But there's plenty of times where the other defenders could clear that. It was a bit of a pinball after. So from Brentford's point of view, a bad goal to concede. But from Alex's point of view, he's alive in the box and he gets his rewards.
Yeah, and 1 minute 38, they found themselves in front. Goal of the night, Jamie.
Yeah, and the crowd were up, they were buzzing. They started to win a few second balls because they'd been sloppy in the opening 20 odd minutes of the game. They hadn't quite got their normal game. They weren't being that productive. They didn't really pass the ball with the normal enthusiasm and quality they had. But they start to win a few second balls. And then once that ball gets played out to Alex, Muniz does really well. He takes a couple of touches. I just take that back because this is so good. I mean, it's one of the best passes we've seen in a long time because as I say, you've got that area there to just play that ball. Can you dissect that defence? You see Van den Berg and Pinnock is trying to get back in. Harry Wilson's got his arm up. He thinks, yes, can you play that to me? And I asked him the question because we've all had that feeling. I remember you scoring an overhead kick for Aston Villa once, and you probably feel like you can fight the world after that, didn't you? Beautiful one. You scored plenty of goals, but you get that amazing rush that you feel like you can do anything after that, don't you? So that confidence just was seeping in through his veins.
Yeah, full of confidence there. And you see Harry, from the minute he made his run, he knew where he wanted it. He's got his hand out, put it there. And the weight of pass for me is the most important thing. Because the weight of pass allows Harry to take that first time. Almost feel like he's already got a picture in his mind, Harry, that he wants to play it in that corner. He's just waiting for the weight of pass.
But he must make that decision very early.
Yeah.
He adjusts his feet, doesn't he, when he sees it
I think if he takes a touch, the defender has a chance to come across. They're the small margins, and it's such a good finish. He makes it look so easy. But he's got this ability, with his left foot. But the weight of pass from Alex was superb.
Yeah, he's got a wonder of a left foot, that boy.
Yeah,
I've seen him score so many good goals. You know, he scored 2 in this fixture last year, didn't he? So important.
So sight of him.
Oh, absolutely. But you're right. The weight of the pass, and it's coming along the ground, and the pitches are so pure now, and he can just, as long as he gets that right connection. And what you also do by taking it first time, you give the keeper no chance because he doesn't have a chance to set himself, and that is why that's such a great finish and a really well worked goal at a really important moment.
Great piece of quality.
Fabulous goal. A little bit of fortune about the third goal, and not for the first time for Fulham this season, benefiting from an own goal at the same end. In fact, he goes in the same corner as well at the same end. Jamie?
This is a real feature. I said it to you, Gary, about Anderson. He can pass the ball beautifully, can't he? We saw him do it for Crystal Palace. He pings it out wide, and then they get a one-on-one with Sessegnon and Coyote. And sometimes, I've said a lot about Coyote lately, sometimes you can't beat him with pace. So the best thing to do is just maybe make a little bit of move, just get half a yard, and then you can play that ball in. When you see, because not very often, the game now, Gary, because we see so many players out here normally that want to cut back and then play it. How much more difficult is it to defend against when Sessegnon plays it and it's coming in that way as a defender?
Yeah, it is, but I think from here, his body shape, the defender's body shape, allows him now to go to the line, and I think it's just that extra yard where he gets that space to cross it in. It's a great delivery.
Great ball, isn't it?
It's a great ball, yeah.
What goes wrong here then for Pinnock, who looks like he can see it all the way?
I'm not quite sure, I'll be totally honest. I think maybe he sees it late just because Collins doesn't get the contact that he wants on it. But again, I'm not quite sure what he's thinking, whether he's looking to duck out and let it run out the back post, which is a possibility. Other than that, I don't see another reason why he wouldn't just head that away. So it's a strange decision for me, that one.
Do you think he thinks Collins might just get that flick? That's what it looks like.
Yeah, maybe he thinks he's going to get the flick.
Yeah.
And like I said, with that there, it looks like he's looking to duck out and maybe it go out the back door if he's not sure what's around him.
That goal took it away from him as well, didn't it? That made it so difficult.
Yeah, it really deflated
after
him. Yeah, definitely.
Disappointing goal to concede, and as Jamie says, that really put the result beyond any doubt. 3-1 it finished. Here's Keith Andrews now. He's talking to Natalie Jedra.
Lost tonight, of course, Fulham did a lot of good things, but is it more frustrating because a lot of those mistakes were kind of self-inflicted?
Yeah, I think the moments of the game, in terms of the 2 goals that we conceded just before half-time, were very frustrating. We knew tonight was going to be a difficult game. We knew the types of qualities they would have. And in a local derby, you need to always have that level of aggression and concentration around how you perform. And then you need to manage, I mentioned it before the game, the games within the games, the momentum swings, and how you can take the sting out of the atmosphere within the stadium, and ultimately try and deal with those scenarios as an individual, whether it's concentration, aggression, focus, togetherness, all those types of aspects, and the timing of the goals really hurt us.
Yeah, talking about managing these momentums, 98 seconds before their first and second goal. The first goal looked a bit messy. Do you think the team didn't recover well enough from that goal and then they concede the second?
Yeah, possibly. I think it goes back to what I was mentioning around the concentration, managing the game. The second goal comes from a throw-in for them deep in their half, where our structure was pretty good in terms of how we set up for it. But then we allow runners to run off us. Basics of the game are a dirty word at times, but I think they're really, really important. And simple things like aggressive duels, tracking runners, nullifying the opposition. And unfortunately, we allowed them get to a position pretty easily from deep in their half into our box where Harry Wilson's able to finish. So the timing of the goals, so close together just before half-time, really hurt us.
Yeah. You're listing, analysing the mistakes from those two goals especially. But do you see a pattern in the goals you've been conceding? 10 goals conceded in 5 games, 8 goals in matches away especially?
Not so much a pattern now, must be honest. I think when you look at tonight, the types of goals that they scored, similar to last year when we were here, there was types of goals like that. I think it's more Fulham related in terms of them. Third goal in particular, stopping crosses, dealing with crosses, and we can say it's slightly unlucky from an own goal from Ethan, and I suppose the actual final action was. But you always have to look at the actions before the goals and what leads to it. Something we alluded to all week in terms of the build up to this game. So yeah, that was a disappointment.
On the offensive side, do you think there was maybe a little bit of lacking a cutting edge in those final decisions especially?
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think it was disjointed at times. I think we got into good areas, and whether it was the belief, the conviction, a little bit of quality at times when we did get into those areas, whether it was the final pass, final shot, decision making at times, just didn't quite create the opportunities that we probably should have.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
To it earlier, Jamie, but was it always going to be a tough start for Brentford this season, given the hand that Keith Andrews, in his first job as a manager, has been dealt in terms of those key personnel that have moved on? Brian Mbeumo, Johan Visser, the goalkeeper Mark Flecken, plus Christian Norgard.
Yeah, it was. It's always going to be difficult, and the performance, the first one, certainly the first one of the season against Nottingham Forest, it was live on Sky. I watched the game. They were poor. Then they had a really good result against Aston Villa. Fantastic win in the Cup against Bournemouth. I know they changed a lot of players that day. Then they could have won at Sunderland. Chelsea, they picked up a good point. That was a really good one last week on, Saturday Night Football. Beat Aston Villa, and then today it feels like a bit of a punch on the nose again, and that's what it's going to be a bit like this season for Brentford. I think it is going to be up and down. They've got to try and find some away form. That was something they struggled with in the first half of last season, but that was due to their fixtures and how difficult they were away. But the ones they've lost to this year are games that you'd be thinking we've got to be more competitive. We've got to make sure we get something at Sunderland. Today in a local derby, can we get a point? But the next 6 games, it doesn't get any easier. It's always going to be difficult. Who knows what's going to happen at West Ham in the coming weeks. Manchester United next week, they've got to make sure they make it really difficult.
Decent record at home against them, beaten them twice. And they've
bashed them up a couple of times. So that will be a game they'll look at next week, and they'll got to be good, and they've got all the details, the set pieces, and make themselves hard to beat, Gary.
Gary, do you think Brentford would be one of those teams, given what's happened, given the big turmoil and the big turnover of players, and a new manager as well, that the promoted clubs will be looking at and saying this is one that we can target?
I think it's a risky time for them at the moment. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think just with the amount of changes, especially the 2 key players, in Mbeumo and Visser, I think there's big onus on Thiago this season. He was injured for a lot of last year, so they'll be looking for him to hit this season up and running and get some goals for them. Also, the manager change, you don't always get an immediate reaction with that, obviously. That sometimes takes time to settle. Tactically, etc. So, yeah, I feel like it's just a matter of settling the ship and trying to get a bit of momentum this season for them.
10th last season, finished above Fulham.
Yeah.
Do you think the ambitions are different this time?
Well, I don't want to undersell Brentford because I think they do a great job. They're so well organised. But when you've had that amount of changes, you have to be realistic. And I think Burnley, Sunderland, Leeds are more competitive than any of the 3 teams I've seen come up in a long time. They will pick up points. They're going to be really difficult to beat. So I think that the expectations have to be, obviously, they have to change. And I think as long as Brentford stay in the Premier League and they can build, and they've always got, they've got great ideas about, bringing players in, and I'm sure everything is always well managed there, but you just have to be careful because of the other sides in and around them. I still think they're going to be perfectly fine, but Keith Andrews will be well aware they're going to have, this is going to be one of those seasons where they need to make sure they pick up points and be more difficult to beat away from home.
How pleased are you not only with the win and the amount of chances you guys created, but also the control you showed throughout the game?
Very pleased and very proud of the players, really. They deserve all the credits for what they did and the way they did it tonight. Great first half, great one, started on the front foot like we did prepare ourselves and we wanted, and was of course our objective, our goal to do it. And very good moments of football, the way we create in our build-up, the way we did it, we didn't give many chances for them to press us high like they like to do it in a man-on-man situation. Of course, they score a goal from a mistake from ourselves, but I think we did it really well. Good 20 minutes, we conceded the goal, but the reaction was even better. We kept ourselves cool and with the same view and taking the same pictures from the game that we needed to play throughout their spine in some moments, or out wide with some dynamic that we did create, and we were leading the score at half time, and the players, they deserve it. Of course, the third goal gave us that confidence and calmness that we needed, and of course until the last minute we did control the game very well. We scored the fourth goal, was disallowed, but the reality that the players, they did really well. Proud of them, proud of the fans. They deserve this type of nights to have a good weekend.
Yeah, 3 goals scored, but the way you guys defended their long throw-ins, we were talking about it before the game, and Alex was actually speaking to the studio and saying how much you guys worked throughout the week on those second balls. So how proud are you of the execution? It was close to perfect.
No, I told the players now was a good challenge. Of course, we can prepare ourselves well, and we did it throughout the week, but the best challenge they are on a match day definitely is where you have the pressure, where the opposition goes with everything, and I don't know how many throw-ins they have or long throw-ins they did inside our box, but probably around 20, between 15 and 20 probably, and the way we challenge it, and the way the players they kept the concentration, because it's very important to keep it, to don't lose the players, to go with the runners, because normally it's not going to be the first ball in that moment that is going to be to punish the opposition. Is going to be much more the second action or the second ball, and I think we did really well. We were brave in the first, but we did really well the second too. And all the defensive set pieces from ourselves, I think we did control it well, and I have to congratulate the players, because it's a moment that you have to be brave, but you have to keep the organization. At the same time, you have to keep the focus, and they did the 3 things in a very good way. Our offensive set pieces, they were good. We did create a great chance with Joaquin as well in the first half.
Josh King, he makes the mistake and then he gets the support from his teammates. He gets a standing ovation from the crowd. How do you make sure an 18-year-old absorbs what he needs to absorb from this mistake, but also moves forward?
I think he did show it. He did show it after the mistake. And this is what I really like on him, and I love on him, that he made a mistake, but straight after he went to receive the ball again and to go, and he never lost the confidence, never lost the faith on himself, and more than that, what we wanted from him in each moment of the game, and showed maturity for a player that is 18 years old. Is not normal to see it, but showed the maturity that I love to see on him, and I really love the way the players, they support him straight away. It's so nice to see. They knew how was important moment in the game, but they kept the focus and support a young lad like Josh in that moment, like they are going to support Rodrigo, or they're going to support Joaquin or Calvin. Doesn't matter who is going to make the mistake. We are going to be all on it, and we won because we as a team were much better.
Well done.
Thank you.
Fans in that Fulham dressing room, that is for sure. Does it feel like Fulham are slowly growing into this season, Gary?
Yeah, the league table suggests that, doesn't it? It's at 7th now. It's been a good start for them. They seem like a very settled club, settled squad, settled manager, options off the bench. I know they've only brought in a couple of players this summer, but like I said, it just seems settled. So, no, good start for Fulham. Yeah, see.
Well, you heard the ambition from Alex Iwobi, Jamie, to improve on last season when they finished 11th. They got a record number of Premier League points, but for a while. There was a little bit of a flirtation around Europe. Has that got to be the next target?
Yeah, I think so, and there's no reason why it can't happen. You know, they have that quality. I think Gary's spot on, you know, and Kevin's going to be a great addition, not just to Premier League, but also to Fulham. They've got a lot of exciting players. Muniz is always such a handful. I like the way he plays. He's got, you know, he brings people into play. He's got lovely qualities. Yeah, and it feels that they're in a really good place and they're a good side to watch. I'm pleased to see Harry Wilson getting a run as well, because at times he's had to suffer being a sub and coming on, and you get that as a bit of a label, but he's more than that. He's a quality player. You can see with that left foot, with goals, assists, he's always looking to be progressive with his passing. I really like him. But yeah, they're in a really good place.